Okay, recording.
Good.
Okay, so everybody please mute themselves.
You can also do it, Phil.
Yeah, I'm gonna be mute all. I'm gonna mute everybody except. Okay, good. So, Cindy, you want to get started?
Yeah.
Okay.
So welcome all to our webinar. So today we're gonna discuss about the subject of work and in life, how to be successful at work and in life, how to win at work. So Philip did an amazing presentation for you today. And to introduce him to you, basically, Philip is a father, a brother, a son, a business owner, an accomplished educator, and an experienced volunteer minister. He personally trained over 1,000 individuals on the tools contained in the Scientology Volunteer Minister program. He has worked for over 3 years in a drug rehab center, helping individuals to effectively get their life back after suffering from drug addiction. His passion for helping others is what drives him and gives meaning to his life. So I'll let you now with Philip to do this webinar.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I'm so glad to be here with all of you guys and share a little bit of wisdom and hopefully give you some tools that you can bring home to help yourself and others to have a better, more calmer life. Because I'm sure we agree there's a lot of uncertainty around. There's a lot of things that we cannot really control right now. But there are things that you can control, and we're going to go over various things like this in the webinar today. I've got some exercise for you and things like that, and we're going to have a period of question and answer at the end. Okay, so let's get started right away. Here we go. Okay, how to keep winning at work and in life. The information is from the tools, from the booklet, Tools for the Workplace by L. Ron Hubbard in the Scientology Volunteer Minister Handbook. Okay? And it is from the works of Mr. L. Ron Hubbard. Now, work. All right. There's lots of type of work, and we're all involved some way, somehow in work. Actually, it takes about 8 hours of our day, sometimes more, right? And it's a big part of our life. I'm sure you all agree with this, right? And because work is so important, Mr. Hubbard has devised some things, and he's really looked into this in terms of, you know, what confused and stressed people, right? You can be a lot of stress, right? Or it can be just a little stress. However, there are confusions that are generated. I'm sure you agree with me in terms of work, because you're dealing with people, and these people have a mind of their own, and things happen, and then you get sometimes you feel like you're thrown into a storm, and you don't know where up is up or down is down. Well, there are tools you can use to stabilize yourself and to help others be more stabilized as well. Okay. First, we're going to start with a short video on the subject. And here we go. And here we go.
We have a different model for the Sapphics now?
Most of us, at one time or another, feel confused or upset about work.
What's the lights? Come on, get it together.
Perhaps the pace of our job and the problem of handling people leave us feeling stressed or overwhelmed.
Yes, I'm on the other line with him right now. Okay, John.
Or we push and drive ourselves to the point of exhaustion, when even the mere thought of continuing seems more than we can tolerate.
New figures show the unemployment rate continues to rise. The number of people...
We worry about holding on to the job we have,
Come on, we don't want to be late for our first day of school.
Or whether we can really succeed when we start a new one.
At 10:30, this place is going to be swarming with people. I mean, just packed. We have to maintain crowd control. That is paramount. We're going to have a special VIP guest coming in. We will not know the time of arrival. Keep in radio contact always. Look alive, be alert, and be nice to the press. Come outside. I'll show you the rest of the detail.
I'd like your attention. Please gather around.
Moreover, we see other people advance up the ladder for all the wrong reasons.
Annie will be styling our next mag cover.
It's her niece. Or watch luck triumph over hard work time and again. It's no wonder that most of us worry about our ability to build a successful career and achieve stability. But work is the major role of our existence, whether we like it or not. If we don't like it, we don't like life. So how can we re-energize ourselves and regain our enthusiasm for work? Overcome our insecurities and feel confident and certain about our future? Well, in Scientology, it was discovered, in truth, all difficulties and failures stem from confusions. When you're confused about something, you're uncertain. In any aspect of our lives, it is our ability to handle confusion that determines our certainty, security, and success. So, what exactly is confusion? Well, confusion is random motion. Random means without any order or pattern to it. You see, confusions are made up of data, or factors, or parts. They have pieces. As long as all the parts or the pieces of it are in motion, you have confusion. But if you can single out just one piece of the confusion and halt that, then you'll have begun to bring order to that confusion. For example, a dispatcher with a dozen calls coming in all at once only needs to single out one call as the first call to take. That call becomes a stable datum.
Hello, thanks for calling. How may I direct your call today?
He can orient all the other calls on the switchboard to that first one, and he'll feel less confused.
Thanks for calling. How may I help you today?
It doesn't even matter which call he selected first. Once he picked one to be his stable datum, the other calls fell in line.
Hello, thanks for holding. How may I help you today?
Let's take an example of a biologist who is lost in the woods. He's confused. He's anxious. Well, a confusion is only a confusion so long as no part of it is understood. So if he simply grasps one fact about the situation,
okay, the sun always sets in the west.
That fact becomes his stable datum.
Which would make that east
becomes his stable datum.
And that south.
And he can then see how everything else aligns to that.
Which will eventually take me back.
Grasping one fact first, one stable datum, will handle his confusion and help him regain his certainty. The teacher, confronted with a number of immediate problems, only needs to pick his first target of attention to start bringing about order again. Now, have you ever tried to teach someone something?
We have to maintain crowd control. That is paramount. We're going to have a special VIP guest coming in. We will not know the time of arrival. Keep in radio contact always. Look alive, be alert, and be nice to the press. You know what to do.
Only to discover later that the person made a mess of it.
You know what to do.
You may have just written it off to, well, he's just not that bright. But the truth of the matter is, he was just confused. He lacked a stable datum. One fact had to be brought home to him first.
This list is the most important thing. If they're not on the list, they're not getting in. I don't care what they tell you. You got it?
Got it.
You handle it?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, listen, if you're on this list, you're getting in.
One is stupid and uncertain in any confusing situation until he has fully grasped one fact or one item.
I'm sorry I've been counting to you on the list.
My boyfriend is the DJ.
Sorry, if not on the list, you're not gonna. It's Wilkins, reporter for the Globe.
Grasping now one fact, he can now relate other things to what he has learned.
Mr. Wilkins, you're all set, sir. Thank you.
And thus go on to master the confusion in its entirety.
Everybody has to come around this way.
Now, you may have noticed that to handle any confusing situation, you have to be willing and able to exert some control. But did you know that there are such things as good control
I am your new teacher. My name is Mr. Lane.
and bad control?
What's the lights? Come on.
In Scientology, you'll learn what the precise difference is between the two and how you can improve your ability to control the people and things you work with.
Director, call today.
There are many other Scientology tools you can use to significantly improve your chances for success. For example, you're going to learn what specific steps you can take to overcome exhaustion and recover your energy and enthusiasm for your work. You'll also discover exactly why you get tired from handling people all day long and what you can do about it. And you'll find out how to increase your familiarity and certainty with your tools so you can be in better control of your endeavors. You can have confidence in yourself and certainty about your future.
We did it, man.
You can have security.
People, I have an announcement to make.
You can succeed.
Today, Elizabeth will be styling our mag cover.
With these tools, you can create exactly the career and the life you've always hoped for. You can create exactly the career and the life you've always hoped for.
Okay, how was it? Good? Excellent. Okay, good. So, I mean, again, it says in there, right? Excellent. Okay, good. A few things really struck me on this video. You know, one thing it says, you know, life, work, you're gonna have to work. You know, whether you like it or not. And if you don't like it, then your life is going to be miserable. I'm sure you all agree with me on this, right? So, and making life easier at work will have ripple effects in the rest of your life. At work, right? So it's very, very important to take those tools at heart and actually start using them to be able to bring about a saner, calmer environment around you, around your family, and around your coworkers as well. Okay? It's very interesting that it says in there, all difficulties and failures stem from confusion. All difficulties, well, that's a statement. And failures, you know, if you look back in your life, all the failures you had or difficulties you had, if you look back and trace it back at the beginning of it, you'll find a confusion. And that's the first thing we're going to be addressing is the idea of confusion. Okay? So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to start getting going on that. The idea of confusion. Okay? PowerPoint. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to start getting going on that. Okay, so confusion. Okay, let's first define what it is. A confusion can be defined as any set of factors or circumstances which do not seem to have any immediate solutions. More broadly, a confusion is random motion, and that's from Mr. Hubbard. So if you have a confusion, there's things that are you don't have an immediate solution. I mean, I'm sure we've all experienced this, you know, back in March. You don't have an immediate solution. Boom, COVID-19 hit. Experienced this, you know, back in March. You know, no immediate solution. Boom, COVID-19 right? We're also experiencing this at school right now. You know, no in terms of, I mean, I've got a daughter. She's 10 years old. She's going back to school right now. We don't know what's going to happen. So it creates a bit of a confusion. You got to have some tools on how to deal with this, or else you're going to be not a happy person. Have some tools on how to deal with this, or else I'm going to come off the line here. I'm going to let you. I want to get some examples that where you have had a confusion. I want to open a discussion on this. So you can unmute yourself. Anybody who wants to say something, you can unmute yourself. And I would like to get 2 or 3 examples of a time where you had a confusion. I would like to get 2 or 3 examples. Go ahead. Of who's the first one? A time where you had a confusion. Okay, go ahead, Larry. Who's the first one? Somehow I can't hear you.
He doesn't have a mic.
Oh, you don't have a mic.
Call me, Larry.
I can't hear you.
He doesn't have a mic. I'll be your voice.
Oh, you don't have a mic. Oh, but that's good.
Call me Larry. I'll be your voice.
Oh, but that's good. I'm going to ask 2 other people, so prepare yourselves. Okay, well, Larry, does that go ahead, Ashish? So prepare yourselves.
Okay.
Okay,
So
well,
right now
Larry,
I'm working here in Dubai.
Go ahead, Ashish.
And I'm heading sales and marketing over here.
Right now I'm working
and,
here in Dubai.
You know, we have other
And,
offices in London and in US. And my bosses are in France.
You know, we have other offices in London and in US.
The situation here is, you know, I'm left alone here. My bosses are all out there. I joined in March. I was just given some very initial training. And then I've, you know, sort of been left on myself to figure out things for myself. Okay.
And then I've, you know,
so,
sort of been
you know, and I'm trying to cope. Okay. So right now it's just a coping
okay.
phase. And,
you know,
but, you know, as you said in the beginning, everyone has a mind of their own. And I'm trying to give my best.
You know,
I'm trying to be ethical
everyone has
and, you know, be sincere at my work. But somehow, because, you know, I've not been trained
and, you know,
to really, you know, not given the tools. I'm not really perform, and as a result, you know, I'm facing a lot of backlash from my bosses. A lot of invalidation,
and as a result, you know,
and that has sort of created a lot of confusion within me. You know, what can I do to make the situation better?
That is sort of,
and that also tells you why I'm here right now in front of all of you.
Well, that's very interesting. Look, put your email. I would like to discuss this a little bit more with you. I mean, I know we're not going to get into lots of detail on this, and I don't think it's a forum for this right now. But put your email down. I'd like to email you, and maybe we can discuss this, you and I, some more like that. I'd like to help you with that. I'd like to email you, and maybe we can discuss this, you and I.
So if anything, it relates to the confusion that we're talking about, maybe you can address.
Sure, Philip.
Definitely.
So if anything, it relates to the confusion.
Yeah, you don't have a stable datum. I mean, we're going to go this in a little bit. You're going to start seeing things, and you can positively go and ask for these things from your senior, because they exist. If it's a company that's an international company, it's got some very stable datums. They just didn't provide them for you. You need to get international company. Cindy, we have, but thank you very much for bringing this up, Ashish. Really appreciate that. Cindy, do you have, but thank you very much for bringing this up, Ashish. Larry, yeah, or Larry on the phone, or?
Oh, yeah.
Cindy, do you have?
I mean, you did not get me a solution
Larry,
yet. So,
we don't have a solution. That's just the confusion, that's all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't need a solution.
So basically, he had a problem with his car.
That's all.
And it was like on the highway, and he had a problem with his car, so he didn't know how to get it solved. But finally, the police came and they got him to get it solved. But finally,
good. Well, again, see, the moment you've got this, the car breaking down, it creates a confusion. Okay, one more person. The moment you've got this, the car breaking down,
I would like to share something.
Sure, okay, one more person.
Well, at the beginning of the pandemic, we were all told to stay home. There were signs everywhere, stay home. And people were staying home, and I was staying home, and I was studying. And I was doing very well with the studies, but that was just a personal thing for me. And I'm used to working with people and communities and groups. So it was very confusing for me to be all by myself. I had all these ideas and things that were going, but nowhere for them to go. So it was in my head. So the stable datum that I took was communicate. That's something I've learned. Is if you can find a terminal, find another person, and then start communicating. You can start to make space and feel better. So I got onto the Scientology website, and I started communicating. And I found people in Pakistan, in Africa, in my own town, and right away I started to feel better because that's my normal operation, and I just put those stable datum back. So that's really my normal operation, and I just.
That's fantastic, Debbie. Okay, good. So we got an example of confusion. I'm sure we all have some. There'll be some more question and answers. Okay, good. So we're just going to keep going. I'm sure we all have some. There'll be some more question and answers. So we'll just presentation here, okay? But thank you very much for everybody who participated. If you have any questions, keep them in mind. Here, okay? Okay. Thank you very much for everybody who participated. If you have any questions, keep them in mind. How to handle a confusion in the workplace. Now, a confusion is only a confusion so long as all the particles, the pieces of it, are in motion. We saw that in the little video clip there. A confusion is only a confusion so long as no factor is clearly defined or understood. In the case of Debbie, it was a confusion so long as I don't have anybody to talk to. All of a sudden, I had people to talk to. All of a sudden, I have nobody to talk to. What am I going to do? I'm confused, right? All of a sudden, I had people to talk to. I have confusion is the basic cause of stupidity, right? A confusion is the basic cause of stupidity. The very simple ones are confused. Now, okay. All things except. So let's talk about stupidity here, and I want you guys to understand that stupidity is a state of talk about stupidity being. It's not an illness. It's not something that you stigmatize somebody. It's not an illness. It's a state that you're in. Right? As an example, you put me. I figured I'm pretty much of an intelligent person. Right? I know how to get around. I put me. I figured I'm pretty much of an intelligent person. But you put me in front of in a cockpit of an airplane like this one, but you put me in and you tell me to start the airplane, right? Well, I'm going to be pretty stupid about it, okay? And you tell me to start the airplane, I'm not going to know what to do, right? Well, I'm going to be pretty stupid about it. I'm going to be going, I'm not going to know what to do, right? I'm going to have lots of questions. How do I handle that? And to tell you the truth, you threaten me with a bunch of different things. I still won't be able to start the plane. And to tell you the truth, you threaten me with a bunch of different things. I still won't be able to start the plane. The point is, I will still be stupid about it. I don't have any knowledge of the airplane. The point is, now, there's the doctrine or the principle of the stable datum. And we talked about this. Debbie mentioned something about that as well. Thank you for pointing that out, Debbie. And we talked about this. Until one selects one datum, one factor, one particular, until one selects one datum, particles, one factor, the confusion continues. The one thing selected and used becomes the stable datum for the remainder. The one thing selected and used because confusions, no matter how big and hard to overcome, they may seem, confusions are composed of data and factors or particles. That's all what the confusion is made of. There's data, there's factors involved, there's particles. Okay, that's something you need to understand. They have pieces, factors involved, like the guy, the school guy, right? The guy that came in at school. Pieces. All the kids are like going around doing things, fighting, this and that. That came in at school. All of these are pieces. All the kids are like going around one piece and you locate it thoroughly. All of these are pieces. Then you see how the other functions in relation to it, and you locate it and you study the confusion. Then you see how the other functions in relation to you have grasped, and you will soon have mastered the confusion in its entirety. You will soon have in the case of the guy, of the teacher that went in, he chose the boombox. In the case of the guy, so he got the sound down. He chose, and from there on, he was able to relate one thing to the other and bring the class under control. And from there on, he was able to. But that's the same thing with everybody. To the other, right? You go to the office, you got 25 messages. But that's the same thing with everybody. Somebody knocking at your door because he's got a meeting that is going to be late, or this or that. Somebody knocking at your door. All of these are pieces. You choose one, and you locate it thoroughly. All of these are pieces. One piece. You have to locate it thoroughly. Okay, and you locate it thoroughly. That email. Just grasp one piece. Deal with that communication. Okay, and all of a sudden, all the other stuff are going to get into line. I'm going to deal with that communication. Now, here's a good stable datum for work. Let us define work and play. Play should be called work without a purpose. That's from a book called The Problems of Work by L. Ron Hubbard. Work without a purpose. I've read this book called The Problems of Work by L. Ron Hubbard. There's so much information in there. I've read this book, so much truth, 10 times. It's incredible. 15. There's so much information. Play is called so much truth. Work without a purpose. It could also be called activity without a purpose. That would make work defined as activity with purpose. Without a purpose. That's what work is. That would make work defined as. Now we're going to do an exercise. Purpose. Okay, you can take a piece of paper and a pen, or you can do it in your mind. Now we're going to do an exercise. Okay, you can take. I want you to write down a pen. What is a strong purpose you have in your life? Like right now. I want you to write down. Think about it. What is a strong purpose you have in your life? What is a strong purpose like right now you have in your life? Think about it. Think about it. What is write this down if you have a piece of paper you have in your life. Think about it. That's an exercise. You have to write this down if you have a piece of paper. I'll give you. That's an exercise. 30 more seconds. You have to do this. I'll give you 30 more seconds. Okay. So you must have something. It's not the main purpose of your life, and I don't want you to do a so you must have something on it. It's not the main purpose of your life, and I don't want you to do a now I want you to write down what is the purpose of your job or what you are currently engaged in. Now I want you to write down what is the purpose of your job or what you are currently engaged in. Okay? The purpose of your job and what you are currently engaged in. So you have two things of your job and what you are a strong purpose you have in life right now, and the purpose of your job. Not your purpose in doing the job. You have in life right now, the purpose of your job. Okay. Not your purpose in doing the job. The purpose of the job. Now there's either one or two things that happened with you as you were doing this. You got that? All right. Now there's either one or two things that happened with you as you were doing this. If your purpose was not aligned. All right. Or if your purpose was aligned, there's two things that might have happened here, right? As you write this down, if your purpose was aligned, there's two things that might have happened here. You might have felt a bit of a confusion here. If your purpose was not aligned, you might have my purpose in life is to help others, or my purpose in life is to teach others. But my purpose in life is to help others. Okay, or my purpose in life is to teach others. But I'm driving a truck. You might also felt a little bit of uncertainty. It's going to create a confusion, right? You're not certain now anymore. You might also felt a little bit of uncertainty. The purpose of your work, right? And you go like certain now anymore. What am I doing? Because again, you look at your purpose and you look at the purpose. You might feel kind of stupid. It's like, what am I doing driving a truck? Right? Look, there's nothing wrong about driving a truck, okay? Absolutely not. What am I doing driving a truck? If I want to teach people, look, there's nothing wrong about driving a truck, okay? Absolutely not. Right? But I mean, if I want to teach people, what am I doing driving a truck? Or you might feel a little insecure. I mean, it's like, right? And this is mechanical. This is what happens when insecure. You've got a stable datum, this is your work, and you get it unstabilized, right? You've got a stable datum, and it was aligned, and you felt more certain. Yeah, I'm on the right track. I'm doing the right thing. If you had a purpose, you felt more intelligent. Then you felt more certain. You know, I'm doing. Yeah, I'm on the right track. I'm doing the right thing. I've lined my life up correctly. Yeah, you know, I'm doing. You know, I feel more secure as well. I've lined my life up correctly. Okay, now I'm going to break off here as well. Screen share, I'm going to see you those actions. I want some feedback. What do you guys think of that? The screen share, I'm going to see. You look at your purpose in life, and then you look at what do you guys the purpose of your job. If it doesn't match your purpose in life, it creates it unstabilizes you. You guys agree with that?
Yeah.
It creates. Does that make sense? It unstabilizes you, right? Do you guys agree with that? Because what happened here? I mean, basically, what happened is like I took your stable datum, because. And I shook. What happened here? I mean, basically, what happened is like I took your stable datum, and then you go, you know, and I shook it. Now you've got to find a bit of a more stable datum, you know, right? And then you go, that fits better with what you. Now you've got to find a bit of a more stable datum, right? Something that you know, in terms of what you want to do. Ashish, when you tell me, okay, I'm doing my job, and I want to ask you a question, Ashish. I'm not picking up on you, but I'm just want to ask you a question. I want this to be real. I want to ask you a question. You're doing this job as a marketing. I'm not picking up on you, but I just want to ask you a question. I want this to be real. So you tell me you're doing this job as a marketing. What's your purpose in life?
To definitely elevate my consciousness to be the best version of myself. To definitely, and in finances, I want to elevate my consciousness to be the best version of myself. Good. Right. And in finances, I can relate with what you're saying here, and you know, and that's my question also to you, Philip. I can relate back of what you're saying. I really want to be a billionaire, and that's my question also to you, Philip. You know, I'm working early in the morning. I really want to be a billionaire towards that, right? But you know, of course, you know, I'm at work and I have certain responsibilities. And I'm making sure that I'm ethical out there. I'm at work. And when I'm at work, I'm really trying to give out. And I'm making sure that there is a disconnect with my purpose. When I'm at work, it is only helping me to, let's say, sustain my. There is a disconnect with my purpose. You know, myself for the time being. It is only helping me to. But I know there is a strong disconnect between what I really want myself for the time being and what I'm doing at my work. But I know there is a strong disconnect. Could that be a reason for all that I really want? And what I'm doing at my work. You don't feel as stable. Could that be a reason for all the confusion that's happening? But look, if you go, I'm going to do that job, and that job will enable me to do X, Y, Z. But look, if you go, I'm going to do that job, and that job will enable me to do X, Y, Z. Yes, certainly. Which I think it's a little bit like that. I mean, you can look at your job, and you can look at what you're doing. So. And I mean, okay, this is a step. You can look at your job, and you can look at what you're doing towards the achievement of a bigger goal. Okay, this is a step towards that job that you're doing is not the towards the achievement of a bigger goal somewhere else.
Right? You know, that job that you're doing is not the end all. It's to get me somewhere
because that's not going to be good for
me. And I hope that your employer is not
But
listening
anyways,
to this conversation.
I'm talking to you and I'm not talking to your employer.
So,
but anyways,
so the idea
I'm
is
talking to you and I'm not talking to your employer.
When you
So,
the idea is to make sure that when you talk to something, when you do something that is your job, when you take and you got a long plan, a short-term plan, when you do something plan that is your long plan is to become a millionaire. You got a long plan, what you're doing right now fits into that goal. Your long plan is to become a millionaire. And if you look at this, what you're doing right now, feel a little bit more secure. Then you feel a little bit more. You get a little bit more. And if you look at this direction, then you feel a little bit more secure on the underside. You generate your own business or what have you. Because and then the other stuff that you're doing on the underside to generate your own business or what have you. Because you have a job, you probably have a plan for business or something like that. But then pour the coal into that. You have a job, you probably have what's going to get you or something like that. But then pour the coal into that. But right? That job is still a stable datum. You to where you want to be at. It just if it becomes that something that gets in the way of, then that's what the confusion generates. If it becomes something that gets in the way of, then that's what the confusion generates.
In the morning, I do have my business that I'm taking care of. Early in the morning and after work. In the morning, I do have my business that I'm taking care of. My job. Early in the morning and after work. It was helping me initially. But at the moment it is slowing me down. My job, because I'm really very aggressive and I feel it is slowing me down, and but at the moment it is slowing me down. Because I'm really very aggressive and I feel it is slowing me down, and that's where I'm coming in a confusion.
One is how to handle confusions. How to handle part of the book which in life you should read. One is how to handle confusions. There's a condition called doubt in life. You might want to take a look at. If you have done the course. And there's another section of that book called doubt, which you might want to take a look at. Which is called. And there's another section of that book. Right here, which is also something you might want to look at. We might do a seminar on targets and goals next week. In 2 weeks, which is also something you might want to look at. We might do a seminar on targets and goals next week. In 2 weeks. But I totally can see it. It's a source of confusion. Again, you spend lots of time at work, but I totally can see it. It's a source of confusion. Where you want to be. Again, you spend lots of time at work. My point is, and the reason why I choose purpose is that this is a stable datum for all of us. My point is, and the reason why I choose purpose is that this is a stable datum for all of us.
I have an example.
Right? Okay, go ahead. Yes.
I have a question. No, I don't have a question actually. I have an example. Before, I used to work in different places. I even worked in a restaurant. Before, I used to work in different places. It was not bad. I could handle a lot of things at the same time. I was doing all sorts of things. It was not bad. I was just not feeling good at all about that. You know, like. I was just not feeling working hard and having money easily plus tips. I was like very easy, but working hard and having money easily boring to me. I was just feeling like I was wasting my time. So yes, I could pay my rent and I was just feeling like I was wasting my time. So like yes, I could pay my rent and I could have my car and my stuff, but I just realized that it was because. And it was not like my purpose. That was just helping me to have money to pay my stuff. But it was not like my purpose. Right now I'm a full-time volunteer minister and I do like exactly what my purpose is, which is to help volunteer minister, and I do like I never ever felt like that, which is to help people. I never felt as like on purpose ever felt like what I should be doing. Like it's just I don't feel like I'm like on purpose doing what I have to do and should be doing. All the confusion, I don't feel like I'm working. The state of being annoyed about what I'm doing, or you know, all the confusion or for the state of being annoyed about what I'm doing, and I'm doing that. I have to do that. It really makes sense for me. It's just like, oh, I want to have your purpose and I'm doing that. So it really makes sense for me to do in life. Like you need to have your purpose. We do help a community center down the street. What you want to do in life. Like we sanitize. We do help a community center down the street. Executive director, she works there, and the lady, she really has the purpose of helping people. Executive director, this is what she does in a community center, of helping every day. And she has a family. She has all this community. You see how she's very simple, and she has a family. When you talk to her, she's just there. You see how she's very simple. That she's just and she's not in a when you talk to her, she's just doing what her purpose is, and it totally aligned with her life. She's not in a confusion because she's doing what her purpose is, and it totally aligned with her life. You hear that often, right?
Find something you like to do and you never have to work for the rest of your life. I mean, you hear that often, right? Find something you like to do and you never have to work for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
There's a little bit of a misnomer on this, right? Because work is activity with a purpose. There's a little bit of a misnomer on this, right? Because work is I'm trying to give you a stable datum with a purpose. It's activity, and that's a good stable datum to have. Now, if your purpose is not the same as the activity you're doing, with a purpose, you're going to have a problem. Now, if your purpose is not the same as the activity you're doing, generated, you're going to have a problem. Okay, you're going to have confusion. Something you're going to have random motion generated from that. You want to say something, Ashish? That's my point. Okay. So great. Okay. So let's carry on this thing. I got a few more things to go over. That's my point. Okay. So great. So let's carry on this thing. I got a few more things to go over. All right. So we got all that. That's good. Here we go. All right. So we got all that. Any questions so far? Okay, we've handled that. Okay, now let's go over control. Because any questions so far? Okay, we've handled that, and I want to go a little bit deeper on the idea of control. Let's go over control because it mentions it a little bit, right? Now the formula for control is deeper on the idea of control here. If you can start something, the formula for control is start, stop, change, and control of it. If you can start something, bone definition of control. If you look at anything else, control of it. That's always go back to definition of control. If I can get on my car, start my car. I can take my car, always go back somewhere, and I can stop get on my car, start my car, I'm in control of my car. I can take my car, drive it somewhere, and I can stop my car when I need to stop it, I'm in control of my car. And go into class, if the teacher starts the class with everybody sitting down and listening, and can actually bring some information into his starts the class with everybody sitting down and listening, can actually bring some information into his students, and that can relate that to any activity that he's in control of his class, okay? And that you can relate that to any activity that you're involved in. And the difference is, now, there is good control and there is bad certainty. And the difference is, and drum roll, that's the certainty. Good control is done with certainty. Bad control is done with uncertainty. Good control is done with certainty. Back up with confusion. Bad control is done with uncertainty. Now, good control is being certain about it. Confusions, and you'll see positive. About good control is being certain about it. More like it's not like positive. Everything is great about it, and blue skies and all of this. Positive more like it's not like this is what needs to happen. Everything is great and blue skies and all of this. Positive is this is what needs to happen, right? Right now, it ties in with certainty. Is it's also predictable, right? It's variable. Bad control is if I tell my daughter, yeah, okay, you can have if I tell my daughter, yeah, okay, you can, and the next day I say, no, you got to go bed at 9 o'clock. You can't stay up until midnight. The next day is, well, okay, fine, I guess you can. No, you got to go bed at 9 o'clock. And the next day is, well, okay, fine, I guess you can stay until 11 o'clock. There's two. And then the next day is, you better be in bed at by 8, right? To expect this what to do. It's not good control. The person won't know good control is expect what to do. It's uncertain. By 10 o'clock, you're in bed. Good control is, and it's like that by 10 o'clock we get to school by 8:30. We need to be ready to get to school. And by 8:30, there's no chance to school by 8:30. We need to be ready to get to school. And by 8:30, and there's no change, and it's predictable. And this is good control. Then bad control is also unpredictable. It must happen. Okay, does that make sense? The whole idea of good control, bad control. Bad control is also unpredictable. So if you yourself have people under you, does that make sense? The whole idea of good control, bad control. So if you yourself have people under you, or if you're dealing with other people, change and stop things. You've got to strive to, in a positive manner, start change and stop things. You got to be predictable in a positive manner. How and you got to be predictable in terms of how and things you are starting. That would give you good control over things, and it will reduce the confusion. And that would give you good control over things, and it will reduce. Confusion could be called confusion, uncontrolled randomness. Now, confusion could be called an uncontrolled randomness. Talking about the same thing is the quality or state of lacking a pattern. We're all talking about the same thing. Is the quality or state of lacking a pattern. So that's another definition. Principle of organization. Unpredictability. That goes right back. So that's another definition. The whole idea of things being random. That goes right back to the whole idea of things being random. Things not having an immediate solution. right?
No.
Not having a clear
Only
pattern.
those who can exert some control over that randomness can handle confusion.
Only those who can
exert some control over that randomness can handle confusion.
Over that randomness.
If you can
be able to
the things that
start
are happening,
things,
you will be able to
over
handle
that
confusion.
randomness, over that
Those
the
who
things that
cannot
are
exert
happening,
control
you will be able to
breed
handle
confusion.
confusion. And I'm sure you've
Those
seen
who
some
cannot
people
exert control
that you've had to
actually
deal with in your
breed
life at
confusions.
work. And I'm sure you've seen some people that you've had to deal with in your life at work
cannot control
that really
random
cannot
actions.
control.
And these guys, they tend to make things more
confusion,
confusing.
cannot control random
actions.
Now,
And
exhaustion.
these guys, they tend to make things more confusing. For you.
Okay, so let's go over exhaustion right now. Now, exhaustion.
The
Now,
video
one
clip
big. Okay, so let's go
went
over
that
exhaustion
a
right
little
now.
bit, and I want
Okay,
to go
we
over this
talked
a little bit more. The video clip kind of went over
I'm sure it's
that a
happened to
little bit,
all
and
of
I want to
us
go over this a little
that
bit
at
more.
the end
of the day or midday, you just feel
No,
like
I'm
you
sure
just
it's
wanna
happened
go
to all of
sleep,
us
you're exhausted,
that
you have no
at the end of
energy.
the day or midday, you
Right?
just feel like you just
Um,
want to go to sleep. You're
and
exhausted. You have no energy.
Here it says,
Right?
one begins to feel after he has been long on a job.
Here it
and
says,
has been
one begins to
considerably
feel after
abused on that job.
he has
right?
been
Means you've had
long
you had
on
to
a
deal with
job
lots of
and
things.
has been
That
considerably
to work
abused on that
anymore
job
will be quite
right? Means you've had
beyond
luck,
his
you
or
had to
her
deal with lots of
endurance.
things.
He is
That to
tired.
work anymore
By the
will
way,
be quite
we're using
beyond his or
here,
her
but
endurance.
it also means she.
He is
okay?
tired.
The thoughts
By the
of
way,
doing certain
we're using
things
here,
makes
but
him
it also
tired.
means she.
He
okay?
thinks of raising his
The
energy
thoughts of doing
or
certain
being able
things
to force
makes
his
him
way
tired.
just a little
He
bit further.
thinks of raising his
And
energy,
if he does so,
or
he is
being able to
thinking
force
in the
his way
wrong
just a
channel,
little bit
since
further.
the answer to
And if he does
exhaustion
so,
he is
has
thinking
little,
in the
if
wrong
anything,
channel,
to do with
since
energy.
the answer to exhaustion, well, that's a
Has
statement.
little, if anything, to do
Exhaustion
with energy.
has little, if anything,
Well,
to do with energy.
that's a statement.
Exhaustion
It has been discovered
little,
that there
if
is
anything,
no
to do
such
with
things
energy.
as a gradual diminishing.
It has
by
been
continuing
discovered
contact
that there
of
is
the
no
energy
such
of
things
the
as a
individual.
gradual diminishing by continuing
one
contact
does
of the
not
energy
become
of the
exhausted
individual
simply because he has worked too long or
And
too hard.
one does not become
Look, we are not built
exhausted
like a
simply
car. It's
because
not
he
like
has
you have
worked too long
fuel.
or too
Like,
hard.
of course, if you don't have food and if
Look,
you don't
we are
sleep,
not
yeah,
built
okay,
like a
you're gonna
car.
lack
It's not
energy,
like you
right?
have fuel.
But
Like, of course, if
given
you
the
don't
fact that
have
you have
food
enough
and if you
sleep,
don't sleep,
you
yeah,
have
okay,
enough
you're going to
food,
lack
right?
energy, right?
If
But
you feel exhausted,
given the fact that you have enough
well,
sleep,
it's not because
and you
your
have enough
energy
food,
level is
right?
running low. It's not like
If
your
you feel
tank of gas
exhausted,
is running low. It has
well, it's not
nothing to do
because
with
your
this.
energy level
If it
is
doesn't,
running
then
low.
what does
It's
this
not
have
like
to
your
do
tank
with?
of gas is running
Right?
low. It has nothing to do
One
with
becomes
this.
exhausted
If it
when
doesn't,
he
then what
has
does this have
worked
to do with?
sufficiently long,
Right?
to reactivate
One
the
becomes
pain and
exhausted
emotion
when he has
of
worked
past
sufficiently
bad
long to
memories
reactivate
of
the
some
pain and
old
emotion
injuries.
of past
Well,
bad
that's a statement.
memories. So basically, you become
Of some
exhausted
old
because
injuries.
as you work,
Well,
you
that's a statement.
trigger.
So basically, you become
bad
exhausted
feeling of the
because
past,
as you
and
work,
that kind of like
you
introverts
trigger
and
bad
because of
feeling
this,
of the
you
past,
start feeling
and that kind of like introverts
exhausted.
you.
Not because
And
you,
because of this,
your energy
you
is
start
running low. It's
feeling
because you are
exhausted.
triggering.
Not because
you are reactivating
your energy is
the
running
pain
low. It's
and
because you
emotion
are
of past
triggering.
bad memories.
You are
of some old
reactivating the
injury.
pain and emotion of
As an
past
example,
bad memories.
You know,
of
let's
some
say,
old injury.
You know, I've had that before. I start the day,
As
everything
an
is going
example,
good, everything is fine.
You know,
things
let's
are rolling.
say,
I've got like,
you know, I've had that before. I start the day, everything is going good, everything is fine. Things are rolling. I've got like emails. And then I hit a client that has a specific situation
coaching
that
my
I find
clients
really, really hard to deal with.
And then I hit a client that has a specific situation that I find really, really hard to deal with
in the past that I couldn't
that
deal with the past
triggers a past
right
failure
after this
in the past that I couldn't deal with a past client. And right after this, I start feeling really, really exhausted.
Okay?
This is what
Because
caused
that
exhaustion,
past
people.
failure got
Okay?
triggered.
It's not.
okay?
This is
I'm running out
what
of
caused
energy,
exhaustion,
right?
people. It also has
Okay?
a lot to do
It's
with
not
extroversion.
I'm
and
running out of
introversion,
energy,
right?
Now, how do you
It also
become
has a lot to
introverted
do
at
with
work? Well,
extroversion
that's
and
one example.
introversion, right?
Now, how do you become
Introversion
introverted at
is
work?
a simple
Well, that's
thing.
one of
It
it.
means
That's one
looking
example,
too
right?
closely.
Now, you see that guy
Introversion
here is like
is a
all inside
simple
his
thing.
mind.
It means looking too
And
closely.
extroversion is also a
Now, you
simple
see that
thing.
guy
It
here is
means
like all
nothing more
inside his
than
mind.
being able to look outward.
And extroversion
If
is
you
also a
hit
simple
too
thing.
many
It means nothing more
instances
than
that make
being
you
able
look
to look
inward
outward.
too much, you start
If
getting
you
introvert.
hit too many
And you're gonna start
instances that
feeling make you look inward too much, you start getting introvert. Phenomenon. And you're going to start feeling exhausted. Take a walk. This is a good exercise. That's the phenomenon, right? Okay.
This procedure is a
Take
very
a walk.
easy
This
to
is a good
perform.
exercise
When
you
one
can
feels
do,
tired
right?
on finishing his
This
work,
procedure is
no
a
matter
very
if
easy
he
to
thought of
perform.
the
When
thought
one
of doing
feels
so is
tired
almost
on
all
finishing
he
his
can
work,
tolerate
no
without
matter if he
falling through
thought
the
of
floor,
the thought of doing
he
so
should
is
go
almost
out and
all he
walk
can
around
tolerate
the
without
block.
falling
Okay, it's
through
not
the
the block, I
floor.
got a mistake here.
He should
It's a
go
typo,
out
is
and
the
walk
block,
around
the
until
block.
he
Okay,
feels
it's not the block,
rested.
I got a mistake
Okay?
here. It's a typo.
In short,
the
he
block
should walk around
until
the
he
block and
feels
look
rested.
at things.
Okay?
Until he sees
In
the
short,
things he's
he
walking
should
in.
walk around the block
It
and
doesn't
look
matter
at
how
things
many times
until he sees
he
the
or
things
she
he's
walk
walking
around
near.
the block.
It doesn't matter how many
around the
times
block until he
he
feels
or
better.
she walked
Now, do you
around the
see
block.
the idea of walking
He
around
should
the block
walk
extroverts
around the
you,
block until
gets
he
you
feels
out
better.
of
Now, do you
the
see the idea of
those
walking
bad
around the block
emotions
extroverts
and
you,
injuries.
gets you
This
out
is
of
why you take a
the
walk.
trigger of those bad emotions
And you start
and
feeling
injuries.
better because again,
This
you
is
kind of
why
like
you take a
get
walk.
rid of all those
And you start feeling better because again, you kind of like
things of the
get
past.
rid of
This
all
is why
those
take a walk
bad
works.
emotions or
Now, I'm
things
gonna
of the
finish
past. This is why
I'm
take a
gonna
walk
stop
works.
this. I'm going to have
Okay?
some questions and answer for
Now,
you guys.
I'm gonna finish
Any questions
this.
you have on what I went over right now?
Stop this.
I'm going to have some questions and answer for you guys. Any questions you have on what I went over right now?
Philip.
Yes, Isaac.
How are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
Good. This is Isaac.
Yes, Isaac.
So yeah, I think.
How are you? I'm good, and yourself?
Good. This is Isaac. Confusion. So yeah, I think. I think we made a point. The lack of control brings you say control or the confusion and all this stuff. I think the lack of control brings confusion. 5 months, whatever. So I've been here in the country like back almost 4 years. So I've been working and I'm doing my part-time business. I've been here in the country like it was almost 4 years. So I've been working and I'm doing my part-time business. Every time I get confused, I used to leave that job because I don't give them a control to get confused. But every time I get confused, I used to leave that job because I don't give them a control to get confused. Sometimes you don't like work environment, right? It doesn't go with what you do. You gotta leave. That's your control. But if you say you can have the same thing, but you don't like it, like one day covers it. So they like it or whatever. I've been almost like 10 jobs there. My thing, okay, I got it. This is not my place to stay. Or whatever. So I think control is the best thing. Okay, I gotta live. This is not my place to stay. So I think control is the best thing. There is no confusion when you control your life. Sometimes people, and you made a point. A guy sleep all night. He comes at work. Oh, I'm tired. Sleeping at work. Somebody's tired. It's right after you wake up. An hour after he's there right now. Oh, I'm tired. It's not somebody's tired. His energy is not flowing to where he is there right now. He got it all night. But a guy. He works all day, but it's not your energy level, right? Between it's not your energy level, right? Between body. This is we are a spiritual being, right? We're not this. This is a body. This is not you, right? You generate your own energy. Exactly.
Well, why is it that you feel you can't? Well, it's because of failures, and then you're doing things that triggers past experience or past bad failures, and then you just kind of like introvert, and you stop looking out on drugs or anything. The guy that parties and has communication with people. I'm not saying like on drugs or anything. The guy that goes out and parties and has communication with people and stuff like that, he's extroverted. So all of a sudden, it's like his energy just goes right back because he's extroverted. But if you are, I'm going to take this right back to that thing. If you're not on purpose doing something you like to do that gives meaning to your life, it's mechanical. Sorry, my friend. You will introvert as human beings, right? It's so I mean, it's a very mechanical. That's how we're rigged as human beings.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a very good point, Isaac. I'm glad you brought this up. Or things you want to say?
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Anybody else? Ask other questions or things you want to say?
So does that mean that
you want to ask?
Being an introvert is not a healthy state to be in? So does that mean that or reflecting? Being an introvert is not a healthy state to be in?
There's no problem.
Or introspecting or reflecting.
Right? But reflecting is okay. To be there's no problem about reflecting. To be introverted, but means to be looking inwards all the time. Okay. To be introverted means to be looking inwards all the time. Again, if you are, I'll be right with you, Cindy. But if you are talking with others, if you are, I'll be right with you, Cindy. But if you are talking with others, if if you're in a position that you have to deal with other people, or else you won't be successful. And you've got to be extroverted in some way. if you're
right?
going to be a
or else you
bookkeeper,
won't be
the only
successful
thing
at what you do.
tolerate,
You know,
which is
look,
fine. There's no problem
if
about
you're going to
this,
be
right?
a bookkeeper, and the only thing you can tolerate, which is fine, there's no problem about this, right? The only thing you're going to be tolerating is, you know, your balance sheets and your, you know, this and that. And you come to work and you get your 4 walls and you do your balance sheet.
Because again, you look at the balance sheet.
You know, even that is an
extroversion. If you're always looking inside,
because again, you look at the
wondering
balance
about
sheet,
yourself,
you look at things.
always
But if you're
thinking
always
that you're,
looking
you know, am I
inside
okay?
and always
Or,
wondering
you know,
about yourself and always thinking that you're, you know, am I
I'll be
okay?
very frank
Or,
with
you know,
this is not good.
that's not a
There's
good state of
different
being.
level
I'll be very, very frank with you. This is not good.
Being out there,
right?
There's
There's
people that
different
have- you
level
really like
of
seeing people and doing things.
being
And that's
out
totally
there,
fine.
and there's
And you
people that
cannot
have they really
force
like
people
seeing
to go
people
out
and
and
doing things.
talk to other people
and
if
that's
they don't
totally
want to.
fine. And you
But
cannot
again,
force people to go out
as a
and
person,
talk to other
to be
people if they
always
don't
looking
want to.
inside,
But again,
it's not a good state. There's
as a
something
person,
that is not
to be
good for that
always
person.
looking
You should go
inside,
out
it's
for
not
a walk,
a good
look
state.
around,
There's something
and at
that is
least
not good
be
for
a
that
little bit
person. They
more
should
in
go out
communication with
for a
the
walk,
environment.
look around, and
Does
at
that answer your
least
question?
be a little bit more in communication with the
Cindy?
environment.
Yeah, like
Does that answer
when
your
you're
question?
all day on the computer and
Yes,
you try
Cindy?
to, I don't know, design
Yeah,
something,
like
or you're writing
when you're
stuff.
all day on the
Did
computer
that ever
and you
happen
try
to
to,
you
I don't know,
that
design something or you're
after
writing
you try
stuff?
to look
Did that ever happen to
farther
you
from the
that
computer
after
and
you try
you
to
can't
look
really see well? So you're like,
farther from the
normally
computer
you're capable
and
of seeing
you can't really
far
see
away.
well? So
But
you're
since your
like,
attention was
normally
fixed on
you're
your screen
capable
all
of
the time,
seeing
and it's
far
not
away.
because of the computer.
But since your
It can
attention
be
was
like
fixed
you're
on
doing
your screen
paperwork
all the
day.
time, and
You're
it's
just
not
looking
because
at
of
your
the
paper,
computer.
and then
It
you
can
try
be
to
like
look
you're doing paperwork all
away.
day.
It's like
You're
going
just
on.
looking at
Yeah.
your paper,
And
and
it's
then
all
you try to
blurry,
look
you know, and
away.
then
It's
what
just
you
like it
tend
goes
And
like
to
it's
this,
do,
right?
yeah, and it's all
you're gonna
blurry,
take your phone
you
and
know.
do this.
And then
And you
what
don't
you
even
tend to do
realize that
is you're gonna take your phone and do this,
distance as
and you
what
don't even
you were just doing
realize
all
that
day.
you're
And
gonna
then you
have your
feel all
attention
like
at the same
tired
distance
and
as what you were
exhausted.
just doing all day. And then
that
you feel
happened to
all
me
like
sometimes. And what I
tired and
do, I
exhausted.
go outside and I take a
So
walk.
that happened to me sometimes. And what I do, I go outside and I take a walk. Then sometime I'm on the phone. Good, I'm gonna go outside on the phone and
I
look
also used
at buildings,
to
that
sell
stuff, and that
shoes,
really
and
works.
I was working with people.
I also used to
when I was younger,
sell shoes,
and you know, like
and I was
selling shoes.
working
It was
with
very
people.
fun at the beginning. It was like,
When
oh,
I was
that's so
younger,
nice. Yeah, I'm
and you
gonna
know, like
help that
selling
lady
shoes.
to get
It was very
shoes.
fun at the beginning. It was like, oh, that's so nice. Yeah, I'm gonna help that lady to get shoes.
Oh my god!
And then after a few hours during the day, I was like, oh my god, there's another person coming in. I need to go in the back store. I was just not able to deal with people anymore. Like, I was like,
honestly, like I
You don't
don't
want
want
to talk to anybody
see
anymore.
anybody.
yeah,
Can
like
that
they're
day end?
so annoying.
So that
honestly, like I don't
actually
want to see
introversion.
anybody.
And
Can
now
that day
I read
end?
the book, I
So
understood
that
what happened
was
back
actually
then, but it's
introversion.
like,
And now that I read the
so
book, I
works.
understood what
Like,
happened
you don't
back
even
then. But
realize
it's
it, but
like
when your attention
it
gets too
so
much focused
works.
on one
Like,
specific
you don't
point
even
or on
realize
one
it, but
person
when
that
your
was,
attention
like, hard
gets
to
too
deal
much
with,
focus on one
then you're
specific
kind of stuck
point
with
or
that,
on one
and then you
person
stop
that was
wanting
like
to
hard to deal with,
see further,
then you're
or
kind of
to
stuck
talk
with
with
that,
other people.
and then
So
you
it's
stop
very
wanting to
important
see
to
further
extrovert.
or
I can
to
have
talk
give
with
you
other
another
people.
example,
So
but I think
it's
I'm
very
talking enough.
important to
That was great,
extrovert. I can
Cindy.
have
Can I
to give
say
you another
something,
example,
Philippe?
but I think
Yeah, sure,
I
go
talked
ahead.
enough.
That was great, Cindy. Can I say something, Philippe?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
What I find, because I do various different work, I have 3 different types of work that I do, and I find that at any moment of the day, I might require myself to be introverted, to think something through, or to figure something out, or to work something through in my head. And at other times of the day, I need to have all my attention out in front of me, or I'll have an accident because I work in construction. So I find that throughout the day, I'm introverting and extroverting and introverting and extroverting, but it's very controlled by myself, so I don't have accidents. But when you need to be when you become fixed, it's dangerous because introvertedly, when you need to be extroverted, it's dangerous because you need to have those attention units out there to control the thing you're trying to control. I see how that is. And when you need to be able to look in and I see how that is. You should be able to do that too. So I find that the walk is so good for that because it gets everything back. It like reboots your attention. Quite often. So it works very well for me, and I use it quite often.
The key thing is, that's a great example. Some people say, "Oh, I'm introvert." The key thing is, again, you have to define introvert, extrovert. Some people say, "Oh, I'm introvert," right? And really, what they mean is, I don't really like talking to lots of different people. I like my close friends. What we mean by introvert is, and that's fine. This is not what we mean by introvert. Okay, what we mean by introvert is the guy just is totally looking inside, and he has his attention on himself, and he's worried about himself all the time, and basically he's kind of like looking in all the time. This is what we mean by introvert. There's other definitions for introvert, which is, I'm an introvert. I don't like to whatever you're doing, Philippe, and you're talking to a bunch of people right now, it's like I could never do this. I'm too much of an introvert. Well, okay, but this is not what we mean by introvert. Okay, it's not somebody that has a close circle of friends and likes to talk. Does that make sense? And that's totally fine, right? Yeah. Okay, good. Does that make sense? The difference I'm making here? Yeah. Okay, good. That's important to understand that. There's different definitions for this, and we got to make sure we're using the right one here.
And I would like to add something.
Yeah.
To think is not necessarily being introverted. For sure, you're gonna look inside your mind and find solution, but it's totally normal to think. What we're talking here in that webinar is when your attention gets too much focus on one thing, and then you start looking inward.
That's okay.
That's just that. So like thinking is totally normal.
Yeah, that's okay. You're gonna see a prospective client that you're gonna be selling them. You're gonna go, okay, so how am I gonna present that to this guy so he gets it, right? Or you're gonna make your boss, and then you want to get a raise, right? And then you're gonna say, okay, so how am I gonna convince him to give me that raise? That's not introversion. It's working things out. It's stable datum. Dealing with the confusion. Really, by selecting stable datums and working out the pieces, so you can be more in control of. Okay, that's very important to see this. You cannot pendulum swing one side or the other side, right? These are tools you can use so you can have a better life, so you can control your environment better, right? There's so much more we can do. We're already like 5 minutes over in the webinar, and I could talk another 2 hours on that subject because there's so much to talk about on this. Anybody else want to say something? Let's take one more question. Feedback on the. Anybody else want to say something, have a question or feedback on the subject that we covered today? Yeah, go ahead, Mr. iPad. I don't know what's your name.
Philip, my name is Mohammed.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. iPad. I don't know what's your name.
My name is Mohammed M. Keller.
Nice to meet you, Mohammed.
Welcome, Liberia. Okay.
It's a pleasure. Nice. I'm from Liberia.
This is a truly international webinar.
Welcome, Liberia. Okay, nice. This is a truly international webinar. I love that.
So first of all, I appreciate. I just want to make a late comment, and that is here. And then, so first of all, I appreciate Debbie following being here, and then very important. And then following like the issue of this, that is very important because like the issue of confusion. I did to do an awareness program. Five institutions to do an awareness program. But then organizing the 5 institutions, bringing them together, it was a kind of very difficult thing in terms of confusion because everybody wanted to bring their own idea on the table, which is good. But what could we do to agree on a exhibiting that is to make us to enable create the awareness we wanted to do in terms of COVID-19. So the 5 institutions, we all have to agree on a specific tax to each of the institutions, and that was we were able to bring that together to make it out of one. But before that, everybody has their own story, their own approach to bring on board. So everybody was just helter scatter, you know. But at the end of the day, we were able to resolve at one solution, and then we to address the issue of the education mechanism and a step to take to address the issue of the education awareness not to spread COVID-19 in our various community. And we're able to at least cover almost 5 districts in Liberia. Liberia has 15 districts, let's say 15 counties, but we were able to cover 5 counties out of the 15 on a voluntary basis, that there were no support from anywhere. We did it on our own because we were doing it for humanity. And I have been following most of your activities. So I'm also learning on a daily basis to get involved with the youth for human rights from your step, and then it's helping me greatly to get involved with the Youth for Human Rights International.
Thank you so much for your feedback.
Thank you.
This is great. Fantastic. Thank you so much for your feedback. Yeah, this is great. What you've done. You took a whole bunch of confusion, and then you got some agreement through communication and scheduled on one thing. Nicely done. Isaac, you wanted to say something as well? Okay. Well, Isaac, you have to unmute yourself.
I want to say something.
Right with you, Thomas. Okay, go ahead. Oh, yes. Thomas. Okay, well, Isaac want to say something. I'll get right with you, Thomas, okay? Go ahead, Isaac.
Yes, so I think what I get is being, and I'm more into connection to people, into sales and stuff like other things. So being introvert and extrovert, I think they're not bad or good thing. It's just we need to know them, and we can use them proper way. So it can benefit us. Sometimes you need to just listen where you're learning, or you might look introvert, but when your job kicks in, you need to explain yourself properly. He's in sales. That guy's in trouble. But a guy just came in and started working with me. He doesn't want to talk, but he's in sales. That guy's in trouble because he needs to be extroverted in his work. But when he goes home, it's up to him. You know what I'm saying? So how do you use them? Knowing when you know it, you go above it. Then you can use everything that you have. Like I think you made a point, Philip. You said it's a piece is how it works out, right? You need to connect them.
Don't talk to somebody. That's okay. Correct. Good.
So thanks.
Yeah. Look, if you don't want to talk to somebody, don't talk to somebody. That's okay. I mean, it's cool. You don't have to force yourself. Sometimes me, I'm like, I work with clients like all day. I have communication with people like all day. I come from work and I'm like going, okay, I don't want to talk to anybody. Totally fine.
Yeah.
Right? Thank you for your feedback. Thomas, that's totally fine. And that's totally fine. Right? Thank you for your feedback. Thomas, what did you want to say?
I want to say, yeah, I'm right here.
Thomas?
I want to send greetings. Yeah, I want to say West Africa. Yeah, I'm right here. And I want to send greetings from Sierra Leone, West Africa. I have done it on based on the topic you are teaching right here, I have done it under the problems of work. A lot of things that I with South Africa Seahawk, and a lot of things that I have been reading. Yeah, I have been reading, and actually found. So I was amazed because actually I've been reading it for myself, and now today. So I was amazed because actually I've been reading it for myself, and now today explanation from you. So you see the program, and again, I want to say this about being introvert and extrovert. You see, even being introvert cannot help at all because it will take you nowhere. You will be like hurting yourself. And being extrovert can help you. Like what we are doing now. If I was like introvert, I would have never met Debbie. I cannot be part of this. I will never share idea internationally. But because I have been extrovert and I have win a lot, I have been connected with Scientology. I have been connected with my organization. I have been connected with a lot of people that we are doing our work and we succeed in it because I am extrovert and I know how to deal with people. So you see. So sometimes, yeah, we get tired. We need to take a walk, and I have been practicing this because I actually did. To be honest, I need to credit the volunteer ministers, and I did all 16 online programs that help me help my foundation. Yeah, you can see the book right behind me. You can see this book. Yeah. So basically, I learned from it, and now I'm doing my. I'm sorry, I have code. I'm doing my basic extension courses with Africa COG. It's helping me a lot. It actually helping me to like organize myself, like basic organizing, helping me to organize my organization. I've learned a lot, and today I have the chance to meet with volunteer ministers from Canada. This is beautiful, and I'm so much happy, and I'm enjoying it.
Very welcome. Well, Thomas,
so good work.
feel free to reach
Thank
out
you
to
so much.
us, You're very welcome. It's a pleasure to have you, Thomas, and feel free to reach out to us, and again, we all want the same thing. We all want a better world. We want people to do better and all of this. And we're using those tools to do that. And this is a fantastic thing. It's great to be connected with so many great people all over the world. Thomas, maybe someday I'll go down to Africa and we'll do something together.
Sierra Leone.
I'm all for that. I love doing that kind of stuff. What? Anyway, in Saint Leon, yes. I'm all for that. I love doing that kind of stuff. Anyway, so guys, that's pretty much all the time we have right now. Cindy, you want to take it over for the end?
Yes, so I will put the link for the free online course. If you're interested, there's all the information contained in this course that you can do, like the Mr. was just talking did. Yes, so basically, where is he? It's no longer on my screen. Thomas. Yes, so basically it's all free. It's in different languages, so you can do it in your own. And I'm gonna put it just there in the chat. And if you have any questions or whatsoever, you can email me, email Philip, text us, WhatsApp us.
We're there to help, okay? We're going to have another one next in 2 weeks. You guys will know when we'll do that. Ashish, I definitely would like to have your contact numbers. Did you put that in there? Did you put your email in there?
I'm sharing again on your private chat.
Okay, good, perfect. Okay, and fantastic. It was great to have all of you here. I'm very, very enthusiastic. Tell other people to come for the next one. It's going to be either targets and goals, or we'll figure something out, Cindy and I. And thank you, Ashish. I got it. Okay, great.
Last thing. If someone had a hard time to connect today and just saw parts of the webinar, this webinar is all recorded, so we can send you the link and you can watch everything you missed, basically. So just let us know.
Fantastic.
Yes, hello. I actually miss. I wish to have it. If I can have that one on, maybe on my WhatsApp, it will be beautiful. Because I missed the time. I was thinking that we are 7 hours ahead of you guys, but I now realize that you're not sharing the same time with Los Angeles, So I was sleeping. So you see.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I would love to have the recording. I'd love to go.
No problem. We'll see that we give you that, Thomas. Not a problem. Okay, great. Again, thank you very much for being there. We'll have another one in 2 weeks from now. And it's always a pleasure to exchange with all of you people. I mean, it's like it's really nice, and I really enjoy it. So in 2 weeks, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much. Have a great week.
Okay.
Apply all that stuff. If you have any questions. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Philippe. Bye.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Debbie. Bye-bye.
Guys, have a good one.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.